Hello and welcome to another episode of the GoodTime Podcast, episode 4. We're very excited. The sun's shining.
Guest.
And another guest. Look at this.
And this is still the same season, This is still season 4 for those counting.
We're still making.
Is this season 4?
Yeah.
Wow.
Season 4.
We had a difficult third season, which
It was the best. It's the best season of The Wire.
It is.
The Wire peaked in season 4.
People just talk about season 3 because it was so short. It was just so good that
really
we crammed.
intense. It was really intense.
Just one sporting episode and another one. Fantastic. But we're here, and it's sunny, and we're enjoying that, and we're going to talk about entertainment and
Good
technology.
time theme, entertainment.
That's our theme today.
And we've got one hell of an entertaining person with us.
Exactly.
Rob Micklejohn.
Sings,
Rob.
dances.
You do the whole thing.
I'm not going to sing or dance for you today.
Okay, maybe with the right amount of money and prompting.
With the right amount of money, we'll off camera.
Luckily for you, Rob, the GoodTime Podcast has absolutely zero money.
and very small expectations as well.
I can see my agent behind the camera just going like that.
Exactly.
So.
This is a real career
Get out of this gig.
But Rob is someone I used to work with before I jumped ship. But it's fine. I had to go. But I miss him, so we dragged him along to this because he's a good person to talk about entertainment.
Yes.
Because you like stuff, and we
I like stuff that is entertaining.
Yeah,
I like to be entertained,
and like you entertain as well. So that fits.
Excellent.
Rob, take it away.
Take it away. What, with a little introduction?
Yeah, I know. We've got a piano piece.
So I used to I used to work with Julian for a social media agency. I'm still there. You're not. You've
No.
run away to pastures new, greener, brighter.
Well, I don't know about that. But
Well, we'll see about that.
different pastures.
Yeah, and so in that, obviously we made our own entertainment very much. I was an analyst there, which is I hate to describe myself as that, but I realise it's what I spend most of my time doing. I'm an analyst for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, and that's kind of a pretty terrible thing. So outside of that, I push for different stuff, and I do a little bit of stand-up comedy.
You do. I'm still waiting to see this, but I've seen your sketch in terms of on a piece of paper.
On a piece of paper,
and I can only imagine how you deliver it.
You should see how it kills in front of 8 people somewhere in Stockwell.
Some smoky place.
That's where the best jokes come from.
It is.
Stockwell.
Well, next time you're on the circuit, we'll make sure we do it though.
Well, yeah, definitely.
Because that's Rob's a genuine entertainer. An actual entertainer, not just like someone who just watches stuff. He does stuff.
He does stuff. He produces content.
He is the most qualified person we've ever had on this show.
Exactly. Content producer. That's what we want. A proper content producer. So we're going to talk about entertainment and technology very soon. If you're wondering why we've sort of relaxed our branding laws, because obviously we're very serious about no brands on the GoodTime Podcast, but it turned out that a certain internet search firm named their certain operating system mobile after a certain chocolate bar that could somewhere be in shop. We're not going to say any of those names, and we're not going to say the name of the beer on here, but we're just saying...
I'll tell you what, Quaz, Tequiros, it sure is a real nice, tasty beverage on a Sunday afternoon when recording a podcast.
Wow.
And
Peroni. Wow.
The thinking man's continental lager.
Wow.
So... basically, brands are back. So if you want to do any advertising on the GoodTime Podcast, get in touch and we'll probably let you do that.
We're advertising men, so we can do
exactly.
that.
These guys will do it.
Exactly.
These guys will do all sorts for you. But yeah, so it's going to be good, guys. And the Hive is going to be brilliant this week because obviously a lot of stuff's been going on. So yeah, we'll join you in a second.
This
fantastic. I mean,
really, it's great.
They sure do produce a good operating system.
Yeah, God, imagine that. Yeah. Makes me want to name my mobile operating system after it. So our first point of
this is functional as it tastes.
Exactly.
Functional as it tastes.
Exactly. Great user experience. User interface, fantastic. Our first point of call with entertainment we thought we'd look at is the way that the lovely celebs have embraced
the talent,
exactly, the talent, the guys who make the stuff, how they've embraced technology, because it's very interesting. Of course, you can't talk about, a lot of them have got into trouble, a lot of them have made the news, and it's all because of one service. and that's Twitter.
Yeah.
And that is obviously where the talent goes to vent themselves. That's where they can be themselves and they can tweet and do what they want. I mean, I'm not sure about you guys, what your sort of how you found people to use it, but I find most of them are pretty good. I'm a big fan of Frankie Boyle because his Twitter is obviously it's if you're easily offended, don't follow it.
Yeah, especially Rebecca Allington.
Yes, but
he's going to do with herself now. She's retired.
Yeah, retired at the age of how old was she?
23.
23.
She could sponsor his next show. That'd be a nice little sort of crow branding, wouldn't it?
Turnaround.
Yeah, just like KitKat and Google.
Yeah.
So, we're going to keep coming back to that.
Yeah.
I'm hoping they'll sponsor us.
I think everyone's just still trying to get their head around it.
Maybe we could get a Good Time Podcast twirl. So if anyone at Kraft Foods is watching, just
the more ethical company probably. Who knows? But yeah, no, celebrities. I mean, they are the talent. They are the entertainment. We're the ones we want to come and see. And now suddenly, for the first time, and we saw this trend start off with like a lot. I reckon comedians and bizarrely sports stars. They're the ones who really sort of got on board the Twitter bandwagon as soon as it came on to. So you mentioned Frankie Boyle. There's a lot of famous comedians out there who have almost based their entire career on the fact that they suddenly end up with like a load of followers who found them funny, and then they get shows out of it. Rob Delaney in America being that.
Wow, yeah.
He's got millions of followers, and his career is more or less based on the fact that he started
tweeting.
I think with comedians the big thing as well is they get it's a chance for them to just kind of throw out an idea as soon as they get it. So when inspiration strikes, they throw it out there, and it's not the same pressure as kind of writing it up and telling it, but they throw a joke out there and see what people's reactions are and see if there's something kind of funny in there, which is good.
Fortunately for all of us, that no one involved in Operation Nutri has a Twitter account. I just noticed that the other day. They don't.
What do you think, mate? No offence. If you were involved in Operation Nutri, I don't think you've got time to be like, I've got a Twitter account. That would be so low on my list of priorities. Maybe clean out everything in my house.
This is they've only been investigating them for a few years, so Twitter's been around for a while. Rolf could have had one, who may or may not be innocent. I don't know. I'm just saying that if Twitter, we could have seen, because that's them talking. We'd have understood.
And they would definitely confess to that kind of shit.
Yeah, exactly. That's the sort of thing you do, isn't it? Talk of your crimes, but yeah, I enjoy it. I mean, it's obviously it's a learning curve. It is, because I mean, every time you give technology to a tool, especially to a group of people where, like, apart from the guys who work in tech, you'd think that a lot of them probably aren't huge technological geeks. No. A lot of them are Luddites, mind you. They're not like, they don't. A lot of them use in entertainment. Apple's pretty much the standard. They all kind of use Apple products and stuff. So, but it's quite watching them just do awful things on Twitter. Just the boundaries.
Well, I think often they can be good at tech, but they might not be so good at kind of personal branding, or maybe have quite an idea of the kind of personality they're portraying there.
Yeah.
I mean, I was actually at a comedy gig last night. That's what I do. I hang out in trendy North London comedy gigs.
Of course.
Stuart Lee was there, and there was actually two comedians who used Twitter. So the first guy actually made a joke about Ricky Gervais on Twitter. He kind of criticised him on there. So he was on stage and he said, "I lost, I used to be religious, but I lost my faith when I saw Ricky Gervais tweets." And it kind of there was a kind of
tweets about that a lot.
Yeah, he does a lot. Yeah. And he said, and the tweet said, "God is a mong." And I just thought, you know what? I don't believe in God anymore. And it kind of nicely summed up. I think everyone who was there, you could kind of tell who in the audience followed Ricky Gervais, because they all kind of burst out laughing. I burst out laughing because he said, "Yeah, that is kind of basically all he tweets about." Yeah. And it becomes this kind of 1-2 note kind of guy. Pictures of his cat, the word wrong, promoting his shit, and then also like criticising God. And it becomes a really weird 1 note. And suddenly you're kind of up for kind of valid criticism there that he might not think he's being exposed to, but there's a guy standing in front of a room of comedy fans going, he's just such a one-note thing.
We just don't know if there's a God.
Yeah, that's true. That's a whole different podcast. But like Gervais is
section 2.
Gervais is a very good example, because that is actually what he tweets about. And obviously, to be fair, it's still hilarious. But it's not actually. It's very much functional. It's very much like he has so many people, like what he calls like the morons, kind of tweeting him about all his God stuff, but he just carries on, and and then he, as you said, animals and his new stuff.
Of course, I suppose moving sort of away from all that, it's the way that the rest of the media world is sort of going around social now. So you've got newspapers, not only they've got their own sort of like accounts where they're talking about entertainment and things like that, but you'll find quotes from people's Twitter accounts in there rather than them actually telling a story.
Very true,
especially on the Daily Mail. The Daily Mail love to retweet a quote. They love it.
Daily Mail will not accept anything apart from tweets. If you try to use live words with Daily Mail, they go, "Nah, it's rubbish." Well, what did he say in his tweet? Tell me what he said in his tweet. That's the real news.
I mean, that's another thing. They've got to, all these entertainers got to bear in mind that this is their snippets out there. So it's starting to become like, well, it's obviously going to be. We talked about before how PR teams. This is the best place because it's free promotion. As soon as you, if you do something populist and it gets out there, suddenly people are going to be going to see your shows and things like that.
It's very true.
And I suppose as a last bit, I'd say on like entertainment, like for musicians now, I guess. Using things like Twitter and Facebook and like what's the blue alien called? Dig it. Rig it. Read it. Reddit. That's the one.
I was dig it. Well, I don't think that's a thing. I don't think that's a blue alien, to be honest.
I'm up to date on my social medias.
It's okay. It's not as if you work there. You really should. I really should think you should know something like that.
To be honest, God, it's all a mystery, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Who knows?
But they're using these things to sort of get enough people talking about them, so they're actually going to make some money out of them going to their shows. I was mentioning musicians, but for musicians, we can. Another podcast is all about Spotify and is it a good or a bad thing? But the point is that I think people are appreciating that. It is going back to almost old school entertainment that you need people to be buying your DVDs and seeing your shows, whatever form of media, whatever form of entertainment you provide, and the best way to do that is to promote what you do to as many people as possible. Hence, we've got like everyone tweeting.
Yeah, it just makes sense. I think it's an absolute massive fail now if you're any sort of a startup in any sort of set, especially in entertainment, and you don't have a Twitter presence. And it's just it's a big free. You've got your way to kind of get out to millions of people
like
for
call
free.
Girls and stuff. Let me finish. No, I want to let you finish.
I want to let you finish.
In traditionally, it was all about having like cards in phone booths. But obviously phone booths are dying, so it's harder to promote yourself. So
you think that?
They have Twitter accounts. No, listen to me. They all have LinkedIn profiles. Not all of them, but a lot of them have LinkedIn profiles.
That is news to us.
That's news
not
to
us.
You, which is, and again, really makes me ask the question: what do you do with 60% of your time? A question I've been trying to find myself.
It mainly makes me want to go to and look at your Twitter profile, and see the people you're following.
Exactly.
I'm just saying that we mentioned this thing. I'm just trying to cross-link shows quads. We talked about LinkedIn and dating the other day. And you can get yourself an escort.
You're just saying that Crystal is a great dancer.
Exactly.
She's a dancer first. She's going to get back to that as soon as possible.
I gave her a great recommendation.
Exactly, and she's recommended for all sorts of skills.
But so I think in conclusion, if you're an entertainer of whatever type, get yourself
on Twitter and know the rules. Really, know the rules. Remember that. I was very quickly. I was reading an article on like the way celebrities handle their Twitter accounts. And they're saying a lot of time that it's not actually them, and it's actually just someone tweeting. But the one that really resonated with me is that you notice that they never really jump on either side, especially if they're a mega celebrity. Like for instance, I follow Rihanna on there because she's good value, right? And you actually look at her tweets. She doesn't say anything.
She's not tweeting.
I already know whoever's tweeting, but whoever's tweeting does not say on the issues of the world. She's pretty much like, here's my video. There is nothing said about anything controversial, and that is the way I've seen with a lot of top Twitter accounts. Exactly. Even apart from like Frankie Boyle and Gervais and stuff, they do not. So obviously comedians, you're trying to incite a bit of but a lot of them are just. They will not, like Ricky.
I want someone from the Saturday Kitchen telling me what he thinks about Putin and Russia.
Exactly, you're not going to get that, and that's something that I found is because they're sensitive issues, and that can be exploded in a second. Like it only takes a second for that to be caught. It's in the paper, and your career's ruined in like 24 hours just through a sort of careless tweet.
Maybe.
So it's just I think it's a blessing, but also if you don't know how to use it, it could be a bit of a curse.
Wow,
so,
that's chilling.
Chilling indeed. So, almost as chilled as this tequila, which you can buy from any recommended shop.
Any good shop, lots of bad shop, plenty of average shop.
So our next area of tech and entertainment is Julian Baker-Davis.
So we've talked about the talent and how the talent is promoting itself. Now we're going to go into the home because it's how people consume the various bits of this entertainment medium.
Yeah.
So is it using Netflix? Is it by having your box sets?
Love film.
All these things have been game changers.
They have been absolute game changers.
And so the next section 2 of this really well organised podcast is home entertainment.
Home entertainment, and I'm a big home ents fan, and it's all about apps.
True. I mean, we should. All three of us are kindred spirits in the fact that one of the greatest shows we always harp on about is Arrested Development.
Yes.
And then we've got Rob here, who's sporting one of my favourite teachers of his. Yes, I have favourite t-shirts of Rob's.
One of your top 5.
Yep.
And there's a bottom 5 as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, all my t-shirts.
I don't even want to look at you when you're wearing them. But that's a Los Polos chicken, which we can't do spoilers, but linking to this hat, bit of Breaking Bad there for people. So you haven't seen it yet, Quaz.
I haven't, so no spoilers.
Definitely, these aren't significant in any way.
Okay. When I see them, I won't lead to conclusions.
But I think before we look into sort of the way what you're saying about apps, point one is technology and like social and the way people were watching stuff now has completely changed the industry that's creating entertainment and how they're producing things. So Arrested Development was saved because online people were just like, we want to see more Arrested Development. We really want to see more Arrested Development. The DVD sales got up. People kept watching it. People kept talking about it online. Before you know it, they decided to make a new one, and they decided to make it on a new site, which is all about new platform. Which on Netflix they signed a contract. And they actually made the show for Netflix, which was incredible. Whether or not you like the new stuff, I thought it was pretty good. But the same with like Breaking Bad. It's the trend in all these shows is like high quality TV now. We're moved away from like the 90s of like the blockbuster movie, and we've moved into like high quality TV because people can invest their time into looking at something and really enjoy it. So it can be complicated plots because they're going to rewatch it. It can be like worth the budget because they're going to make it back on the fact that people are going to buy into it. And also, because of this sort of box set phenomena, we can make a story. We can cut it down in terms. It doesn't need to be like 90 episodes per season now. We can focus on like telling a better story.
It's very true. I think you touched on quite a few points there.
I'm all encompassing.
I'm
done.
The Netflix itself and a lot of the online kind of production houses.
What's the big on America on it? It used to be Hulu.
Hulu's still pretty big.
Hulu's massive, but
it never got to us.
I don't think it's in the UK yet. It might be actually. I'll have to quote on that, but. Those online platforms have been game changers just because they've sidelined a lot of costs.
Yeah.
And just from an actual cost basis. So through a normal production house, you've got things like distribution, and suddenly it was like, well, no, we just upload it to a server. And it's available to millions of people. The actual production of the show is going to be the same price because it's still, it's still shot. And it's just the things after, which actually add up quite a lot. So a lot of shows like House of Cards with Kevin Spacey, when I read an interview with him saying that it's just, it gives you so much leeway because suddenly you haven't got this huge cost at the end that you've got to make back.
Yeah.
It's actually like, well, no, obviously Netflix want to make money out of it and through subscription and stuff, but it's not like DVD sales, this and that. It's actually like you don't have to pay for DVDs, it's all online.
Yeah.
And that was in terms of the cost, it was a big game changer.
And I think then if they do sell any DVDs off the back of it, that's
bonus.
Profit. They're not relying on they're not relying on that at all. I think House of Cards is a great one as well, and it's also changed the way people consume content as well, because with Netflix their whole idea is there's no such thing as a kind of as a opening credits, this is what happened in the previous episode, because it kind of got to the stage on American TV and on shows I really liked, that was one thing that's really beginning to annoy me, because I don't watch shows once a week, I kind of binge watch them, I watch them in a weekend, and so when I finish one episode and I start the next one, I don't need reminding what's happened, and often the little clips would give away future plot points, it'd be like previously on whatever. It's like, remember this guy from 4 episodes ago? Well, we're showing him again now. He's about to be really important. So when he shows up, it's going to go down.
And things like Lost as well. I mean, they're when they recap stuff, that was just like, I had to get a book out.
I was just
get my philosophy textbooks out.
Whereas they were frantically scribbling.
But I think Netflix don't go with that because they go, we assume we're going to upload it on a Friday, like House of Cards, and most people are
Breaking Bad on Sunday night.
And people are going to just watch it kind of obsessively, over a short amount of time. So, and that's I think they built their advertising around that as well.
Definitely. The way it's done, and Rob makes a very good point. The way people consume content is what has really changed, because Gone are the days.
We're Pac-Man now.
We are, and it's exactly the generation. We are absolutely.
We want everything now.
We want. Couldn't have said it better. We actually do want everything now. We don't want to wait for season 2. Or we don't want to wait for episode 2.
We don't
we
care
just
about
want it now.
global warming.
The servers are cool. Okay, the way they call those servers, it's all legit.
We just live in the moment, okay, and we just want everything to be all right this second.
And that's what you've noticed. So even all online platforms like that, Love Film, they'll do the same thing. They'll release things in batches, and it makes such a difference because the ability of being able to just consume 6 episodes of something is just so rewarding, as opposed to having to sit there twiddling your thumbs waiting for a new episode.
And of course, it's changed TV. And I suppose linking to what you were saying about App Squads, the other point I'd make about the old home entertainment thing is dual screening, and there's something that we always get talked about, don't they? With a planning department in the agencies, everyone's talking about your second screen.
Oh, your second
screen.
What
else are you fiddling on while you're fiddling?
It's them. There was a stat saying 63% of Americans use their tablet while watching TV, and that is pretty. The living room has become. Like, the living room just used to be the TV, which is we were there, back in the late noughties when it was all good.
Late 90s?
Sorry, late 90s, early noughties. Sorry, I was saying.
It's not like Quantum Leap.
Wow, we lost a decade.
Do you know why? Because we only cared about the now.
But it was just the telly, and there was nothing else.
You actually house party.
Honestly, you would sit on Saturday and you'd be focused on the Saturday lineup. Nothing else would come in.
No.
Now,
watch the lottery results come in.
Exactly.
Stay in poverty a bit longer.
Hey, but now obviously the telly's on, but everyone's got their phones, everyone's got their tablets, the laptops are out, everyone's tweeting, and that's been really interesting. That's why there's phenomenon of the second screen. Everyone's trying to really get into now. A lot of companies are trying to play off the TV kind of, because one thing people are saying is that TV does still need a bit of a social revolution. They started with like people are tweeting, but people haven't quite given it the gravitas that they want. So you get trending on Twitter. So hashtag X Factor.
We're the sort of the heart of ruining lives in terms of like this is how we're going to ruin social media, Rob. Because what from advertisers' point of view, what they're trying to do is they want to connect the entire experience. So
they do.
That you'll see like increasing trends of like you said hashtag talk about X Factor, but even in adverts, and then actually just like a brand campaign now might have it might be based and built across one hashtag. So the Mercedes-Benz tried that thing where they try to get someone to direct like the story live on Twitter. It would have been hashtag Mercedes adventure, and this would have gone around every platform, and then we would be monitoring it on Facebook. You'd be monitoring it on Twitter. So the whole campaign is born out of one single hashtag, and then it's all about trying to get people to activate it on different points. So they've seen it on the TV. Now they might be stimulated to tweet about it, or they might be using their second screen to find out more. And it's the rabbit hole, man.
It is. It's very interesting. Like,
and we create the rabbit hole.
I think
ruining it.
I think as well. It's interesting to see the kind of differences between the types of shows people watch. I think when you get something like X Factor, people kind of are impulsively tweeting kind of throughout it.
Exactly.
I think we actually did a piece of research at work where we looked at buzz kind of during Game of Thrones, and we found out that was all about huge spikes during the ad breaks. So loads of buzz before, drops right down because it's quite a detailed show. You can't really tweet through it. Get to the ad break, people are like tweeting what they
have you seen this?
and that's what you get. Whereas with something like X Factor, it's just kind of going all the way up until the announcement.
And then generally their annoyance levels as well. That trend keeps going up.
Well, that's because it's pulling in people like me who are going
exactly because you
broken Britain.
I was on my phone on the way over here, and X Factor was starting trying to start already.
Because I don't know when it kicks off, but X Factor people go mad about X Factor. Follow that hashtag if you want some really entertaining tweets, by the way. Very good fun. Just to sort of, in terms of like what people generally use in their home, like top services I think in the UK for kind of Netflix. They've done a great job, I think, just doing what they've done, because someone had to do it. It was very difficult, and they've done it very well.
They've done a Spotify for programs, haven't they?
They have,
definitely.
Although, no offense to Netflix, they're not quite a Spotify music.
No,
because Spotify, the way Spotify's done it is much more of a complete service than Netflix is.
But
I think there is
still a service you can enjoy watching something and sip a cool tequila.
And watch some Breaking Bad on a Sunday. I don't know, have a Kit Kat. But I think it's very interesting. But those are my key ones that I use. What about you guys? What sort of apps do you use for entertainment. Like, I know in terms of media centres and all that stuff, there's XBMC and Plex, and Netflix is kind of a media centre as well. That's quite good.
Well, of course, there's I think the kind of free ones of BBC iPlayer and 4OD are massive.
Of course,
yeah, which
the on-demand ones.
Have we forgotten?
Have we forgotten on-demand?
Rob,
Jeez.
you just went there and saved.
Yes,
you saved red face.
Very good point.
They're kind of which are hugely impressive, and have actually been there for a while, but are kind of increasingly coming back. And so I watch kind of most of these actually on my Xbox, plugged into the plugged into the TV, and it's kind of interesting how that's changed the use of that device as well. Because when I got that, I was just playing games on it, and my girlfriend would have no idea how to use the controller. Whereas now,
she has too much control.
She has too much control.
Too much
control.
It's a very good point actually, because like PS3, they've got all those services. So 4OD, iPlayer, because there's such great services. They're on every platform, any platform. So yeah, that's pretty. The on-demand services are really. I mean, BBC iPlayer. Watching the stats of how that's increasing is actually quite incredible. You notice that we're actually watching all our telly on demand and catch up now. I mean, I rarely sit down and catch a show like you serious link it, you catch it on something else, because the way our generation is, we want everything now,
but we don't have time to have it.
We're too busy,
We're just so busy.
Having demanded it, we then can't
exactly. He's in North London. He hasn't got time. He's being cool in North London. Come on.
Rob couldn't watch his Sunday TV because he was spending half the day trying to get to here. But never fear though, Rob, if there's a fire on on Finsbury Park, or if the lines are completely down everywhere, because you got your phones.
I've got my phone. I've got my Netflix, got my iPlayer,
and
you're laughing.
Oh, it's fine. Exactly. Except I didn't have much battery left, so I was trying to keep enough of the map so I could actually.
Sorry about that. So many people
Map or TV.
Imagine that.
Map or TV.
You get the thing where everyone's annoyed when someone's tweeting or texting, and they walk into someone. You're going to have these scenarios in the future where people are watching the epic ending of Breaking Bad season 5, and they're just walking straight into a demilitarized zone. That's actually how the North and South Korea is going to be. Some poor guy in South Korea is going to be watching the end of some series, just walk into across that parallel, and
that's it. I'd probably walk across the border if I was watching a Game of Thrones finale. I'd walk
exactly.
So that's that, and then our third part.
Right. So looked at the peoples.
Look at the people.
Now we've gone in-house because obviously there was a recession on.
What?
There was. Did you not hear? A lot of people were staying home.
Let's not.
I don't believe that. There's a recession.
There was.
It's your agenda.
Come on. You're trying to blare me.
Well, whatever it was, the opposition. The reason was a lot of people were staying at home to do stuff. They were eating at home. They were watching stuff, and they were drinking at home. A lot of premium. I'm just saying.
It's more. Are you trying to say it's more socially acceptable to drink at home?
Yeah. I'm saying I'll go to the cinema alone. I'll drink alone. It's fine at home. But the third thing was actually maybe we might be out of the recession.
Ooh,
might be, might be, but there are
don't want to jinx it.
Fragile enough.
Don't jinx it.
There are people now who are starting to enjoy the real world out there again. So the third section was looking at entertainment, seeing real stuff out there, and how tech has revolutionised things
in gigs. Very good point.
I thought this through.
And great timing, because at the moment the iTunes Music Festival's on at the Roundhouse that they've done, that's been just growing in sort of popularity.
Thank you for my tickets, Metro.
Yeah, and that is a fantastic example of using tech and marketing to and mixing it with the real, because it's basically an online. So they have it in the Roundhouse. It's basically 30 nights of music. Artists do it. iTunes give away tickets for free. Obviously, loads of advertising and Apple. Obviously, you're hooked into the Apple brand. But what's amazing is that you can stream all the shows online. You tweet about it. It's so engaging. Yeah. And of course, everyone who's there is all these 14-year-olds waving to One Direction.
Well, they're older as well.
Oh yeah. No,
I don't want to be part of Operation YouTube.
But it's
I've got a Twitter account.
It's very amazing, and obviously at gigs in general, you've got usually some sort of live hashtag, especially a big gig, if you're going to Hyde Park or something.
It's sort of it cunningly takes us back to the beginning of something about people promoting it and places promoting stuff. This is the way to get it out. There's so much to consume. It's get it in front of people. So me and Rob were talking about before we came online, or whatever we call this, with the red light goes on. But basically, there's an app called Y-Plan.
Yes.
Now this is absolutely fantastic.
Tell me about, because I've heard about this app. Someone tell me
Tell us about your real life experience.
I didn't actually get my tickets through Yplan, but a friend of mine did. I got my tickets through Yplan, Julian.
It's a fantastic app. What does it do?
They are. So Yplan is basically a way of getting kind of like last minute tickets off, usually with kind of deals, percentages off. So
centralised on your location, doesn't it?
Yes,
it serves you up with what's.
It works on your location, also your interests and stuff like that. So you can kind of it makes it sort of practical to log on in the morning, say what's happening in London. Or East London or North London, wherever, tonight at this time in comedy or dance or theatre or whatever, and it will kind of give you a list of options, and often there'll be kind of like money off stuff and extra deals you get, and I think often it's a case of people, if they haven't completely sold out, they'll put it on Yplan.
Yeah, so I guess the Yplan probably get a bit of commission from the ticket sale, and the place takes a hit, but it must make the money.
It makes the money back. It sells the final tickets that it may not sell. And I think that's very.
But it only works on. This is the interesting thing about Yplan, and we're seeing more and more apps like this because it's like geolocated with full of information. Is that it only works for the 3 days? So it works for today, tomorrow, and the day after.
Yes.
Oh
so
wow,
that's how it keeps it fresh, and you'll only ever get served like maybe like 5 or 6 a day. It's not like because. Let's face it. There used to be one who tried it. Was it Groupon?
Oh yeah,
before
Groupon.
it went really downhill. With everything being
Groupon
served.
just throws everything at you.
Exactly.
Need a massage? Get one. Do you want to go to Surrey and Worcester? Do you want to go to a spa in Worcester?
Yeah, spa break, hundreds of miles away. Flights included? No. No airport near it. It's a train station.
Go anyway. It's £8. Exactly. How could you resist?
That links it really well. It is what you guys were saying. It's the taking of like relevant information and serving it to the people who want to see it.
Yeah.
So like there's a colleague at work who uses it quite a lot with his wife. They're rather than like plotting it in advance, they'll be like they'll just go, well, let's do something tonight. Let's go on to this. See what's going on. There you go.
That's very good, actually. A lot of services, like especially in big cities, especially if you're new or something. It's a huge, I think there's a website called Design My Night. On London, which is kind of like saying, "Ooh, what do you want to do? Where do you want to go?" And it kind of, serves you up, which is great. I think all these services, anything where we don't have to use our brains, it's just really helpful.
But also, it's a case of kind of power to the people, really. There's no reason, to eat in a rubbish restaurant or go to a gig that's not any good because you've got your reviews, you've got it being served up to you, you've got the best stuff there. So it's all there for you.
It's all there for you. Good. So there you go, viewers. You've been thoroughly and utterly entertained and taken through the 3 stages of tech and entertainment.
There's one other thing though that I should point out. If I can have a 3D.
Yes. He's done it.
Okay, word of warning. So
he's done a Columbo. He's done a Columbo.
It should be fortunate. Just be aware when you're consuming entertainment that it's now with social. It's a 2-way bridge. So it's very fortunate I went to this. It's very fortunate I went to this gig last night because everything I've said came from this one gig.
That's why you're a relevant guest, Ross.
So the gig we went to last night, we booked it a few weeks in advance at the Union Chapel in Islington, which is a great night, great comedy night, and they had a load of great acts on, and then at the last minute they added Stuart Lee to the top of the bill.
Yeah.
So that's if you already booked your tickets, that's absolutely fantastic. But he was added late. He was added maybe kind of 40 hours beforehand, and he walks on stage. It's the final act, and he says, I'm aware I was added late to this bill, and so I hope that hasn't upset anyone. And he gets a piece of paper out of his pocket. He said, on Twitter, I had to do a little search here, and I saw a tweet from, I can't remember the lady's name, but it was like a Sarah whatever.
Yeah.
And Sarah said, "Oh, Stuart Lee's been added to the bill tonight. Might try and sneak out early." And then he directed the entire, and he was trying to find her in the audience. He was like, "Sarah, where are you? Where is she? She's in here somewhere. You can go now." And he directed the entire gig at her because he went on there and found her. So, be aware.
That's really good.
Brilliant.
That's really
good. The 2-way bridge of entertainment and tech.
Yes.
Good add-on.
They look for us too.
Exactly. So they can come back to you.
They can find us.
When celebrities attack.
Exactly. Coming soon to Channel 5.
Definitely Channel 5.
It's definitely Channel 5. Fall 2014.
Probably a live feed following, putting celebrities in a room. They just got to watch the abuse coming on.
Yeah. Imagine that.
And then
Some
they-
celebrities would be really painful.
And then they just get given the address of the person.
I've sorted it. Definitely that.
Yeah.
I've sorted it. It's like all you have to do to really make this great TV. You know, Big Brother's gone now. It's still on Channel 5, but no one really watches it. Celebrity Big Brother. Give them the live tweets of what people are saying about them. Plus, with Rob's idea of giving out addresses, and you could it's like a battle royale.
Battle royale.
Celebrity battle
Let's
royale.
start a riot, essentially.
Responsibly, though.
Responsibly. So there you have it, guys. We've been through it. We hope you enjoyed it. Let us know your thoughts on how you use entertainment.
They'll never be bored again.
You'll never be bored again. You shouldn't be bored. Not in any city. You've got the technology.
They're watching the Good Time podcast, which is like massively entertaining.
How could you be bored? But next, of course, it's the Hive, and we've got a lot to talk about. And so we'll be back with that shortly.
Bro.
Right, welcome back, viewers. If you notice at the end of our section that we don't complete the video, it's no worry. It was just something we were trying out.
Technical issue. in a high-tech Good Time podcast.
Exactly. We try and give you a bit more sometimes, and sometimes that fails. So
Give you extra, a Good Time podcast.
Yeah.
But
We
we're not
did.
in a position to give you extra, so
We're not.
you know.
We fired the cameraman.
he's out of the job.
Exactly. We've replaced it with a stepladder. A little internal joke there.
So this is the Hive,
Buzz.
where we talk about what's been going on in the world since we last were on your lovely screens.
And do you know, of course, this is actually the Buzz is sort of inspired by Robin directly because, like, at Jam,
Yeah.
good agency at Jam, really good, isn't it, Robin?
If you're all your social media needs.
Yeah, exactly. They keep spreading the news.
The news.
Jam.
not-
But I don't know what's
Anyway,
going on.
whatever.
Anyway, you do your own
Bail.
marketing.
Bail.
No, I was saying with Rob, like they produce buzz reports, you see, but I didn't want to directly reference that had I just left.
Yeah.
So I wanted to like give a little bit of distance to talk about the buzz on the internet. So that's where the Hive came from.
But keep it with the kind of B reference.
Yes.
B
Yeah.
reference,
Well, I
yeah.
want to see who brings in more honey.
Exactly. So, obviously, there's one word that has embodied all of us recently.
Good use of embodied as well.
Embodied, and that, of course, is twerking.
Wow.
But before we go into the ins and outs of a good twerk, let's just talk about what a twerk is, because I'm not down with the kids. I thought it was
Has anyone got their
nonsense.
phone on you? Because I think we should
Actually,
probably look
let's-
this up.
you know what?
LED kind of.
You know what?
What do you understand?
We're gonna look
twerking?
this up
I
in
think-
real
I
time
think
right now.
I'm, as far as I'm aware, it's when a young lady dances up and down.
Okay.
Man.
So she.
Wait, Wikipedia. Okay, now we're going. Oh, no, keep going.
Okay,
And
so
what your
I
understanding
think
of
That's in a very
twerking.
provocative manner. I would say usually kind of forms a right angle
Yes.
with their body.
Yes.
A kind of inverted L shape.
And sort of like, really trying to lay some stains. that's such a bad choice
That's a
of words.
really
But if,
terrible choice of words. That doesn't happen in twerking, by the way.
I don't know. You saw
Your
Miley
understanding
Cyrus.
of twerking.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I guess so, isn't it? It's like a wow. It's a sort of dance that you really need not to be in Oceania to pull off because you need some space.
That's
And
very
when she's
true.
going down, and she's been all flexy.
Here we go.
You can't do that in like a sweat pit.
It's kind of. I feel awkward usually as well for the guy as well. It's like I don't know.
How do
I mean, I like to think of myself as very fairly kind of comfortable and confident. But that happens. It's like, well, like, what is your part of the dance? Just like
You just stand like an erect stick.
an idiot.
Yeah.
And then find someone to sit
Exactly.
down.
Just do this and just hope for the best.
Hope for the best.
We're having some loading problems with the Wikipedia, but I've gone to the Oxford English Dictionary, and here we have...
Yeah, which is just been added to.
just been
They
added
did
to.
so quickly as well. Usually the OED, they're like, hey, we've just added tweeting, guys.
It seems like the dictionary people really wanted twerking in.
And also, I've just found
Look up
this out,
your
that
daughters.
they do a quarterly review of words, so it's actually very quick now. So they review the words. I thought, like new words went in every
No,
year.
you can't have all the words going in. There's be too many words.
So here we go. Twerk, verb, no object, informal. Dance to popular music in a sexually provocative manner involving thrusting hip movements and a low squatting stance. Use it in a sentence. Just wait till they catch their daughters twerking to this song.
Yeah, with Robin Thicke.
Just wait till they catch their daughters.
Twerk it, girl. Work it, girl.
Okay.
So,
Twerking girls,
a direct
working girls.
quote from
Twerking girls
Robin Thicke.
are working girls. I think Robin Thicke wrote that himself.
Yeah.
the reason twerking is in the news is because certain Miley Cyrus at the VMAs...
She shocked the poor Smith family.
She shocked the nation. The innocent Hannah Montana has now become a filthy twerker. And we'll put up a link. I'm sure you guys have seen it. But even I was shocked.
Several
I was actually watching it and I was like, this is horrible. This is just awkward. She was basically wearing a skin bikini, which is made her look kind of naked.
Yeah.
She was basically grinding herself and pointing to a special place all over.
With a massive finger.
With a massive finger. And it was going in all sorts of directions.
No, and you do not want to get phone down there.
And next to Robin Thicke as well, who I found out he's about 15 years older or
He's
something.
36, he's got married with kids.
He's married with kids.
And basically that was it. And of course the online sensation
It did explode, didn't it?
She broke the record, I think, during that. When she did it, she broke some sort of record for number of mentions
of twerking,
and the best was the reaction. And of course, you knew what the reaction was going to be. It was lots of people being like, "OMG!" Like, I cannot believe she did that.
I'm just shocked at how upset the Smith family was.
Yeah,
my favourite. Have you seen that?
I've seen
it's one of my favourite pictures. Will Smith's just like.
Apparently, that was actually a reaction to Lady Gaga.
That's it.
But I think I'm like, what was Lady Gaga doing? I'm surely that was Miley Cyrus.
No.
But so there you go. So twerking is because.
To be honest, when you
twerk in the club
all the time, mate.
Yeah.
That's how I've done most of my back injuries. Actually, we have seen something. When you remember our mate Sean leant back and clicked his back. And
sometimes
that's not it's not as fun as it sounded when I just said it then. And I made it sound pretty good and it rhymed. But no, you've got to be careful in dancing. But I'm completely on board with all this criticism for Miley Cyrus because if you watched an episode of Hannah Montana, what a load of crap.
Exactly, you can't go from Hannah Montana to that.
Well, no, she can twerk all she wants. Just stop making that.
She stopped making that.
I think she has stopped making that.
I don't think Disney after that are going to be like, do you want to be Hannah Montana?
Hannah Montana's got to grow up.
No,
they're going to follow her to university.
But you don't want to see Hannah Montana when she goes up because she ends up twerking on VMA Awards. Yeah. This is what happens.
Oh god, she's going to be busy mates with Lindsay Lohan.
I have to feel like I wonder if I sense the kind of the dark hand of the kind of PR management thing there of like we need to reinvent you here, because you can't be on Disney anymore. How do we make you Lady Gaga?
But
twerking.
Yeah, but Gaga's quite a classy lady, isn't she? Ultimately, she wears lobsters on her head.
She is very true.
She'll appear from objects.
Classy or weird? I mean, she's weird.
She's weird, yeah. She still manages to stay kind of classy.
She's not really a twerker.
No,
I can't imagine her doing that.
She would never twerk.
Unless it was like to a kind of 18-foot kind of alien robot or something like that.
Exactly.
That's the only sort of twerking that she does.
She was dressed as a chicken drumstick.
Exactly.
And it would be a comment or something.
No, you're right. In that case, she would definitely base herself. Or debase herself, who's with me.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Basing the chicken.
So that's what a lot of the world's been that's what a lot of the world's been talking about. In other news,
money.
So Gareth Bale became the most expensive football player, 100 million euros.
Well, Cristiano's not happy about it.
Cristiano's not happy, but I don't know why it bothers him. He's, to be honest, he's still worth 80 million euros, which is still quite a lot of money, Cristiano. So don't get too damn beat, mate.
£8 million.
Yeah.
Bale's 86.
Oh God. Oh, for these problems.
I think it's one of our first world problems.
Yeah,
footballer
problems. Really big problems. So that was very good. A lot of people, of course, the classic reaction of, in this level of recession, I can't believe we're spending. I was like, well, we've been doing it for 10 years, so
and also,
pay attention, please.
If they've got the money, they've got the money. It turns out Real Madrid don't have the money, and they're like 500 million in debt, and they're bankrolled by the Spanish government, who has no money. So I don't know. I'd imagine China owns Gareth Bale.
That's so funny because I guarantee that at least 25% of Gareth Bale is owned by China.
Exactly.
Any major purchase in the EU over £50 million, quarter of it goes to China. Some of that revenue's got to be going to China.
I wonder which half they'd go for.
Exactly. Probably if they're no in China, at least it's left foot.
They're going for that, aren't they? They're going for the wrist. So they're going for the half thing, definitely.
So that was good. What else been happening?
You didn't do that on camera, did you?
Oh, was that copyrighted?
Yeah. Genuinely,
I'm gonna have to.
I genuinely that he managed to copyright.
No, didn't he try to copyright?
No, I think he actually successfully did it. Yeah.
No, we won't. Oh God, we will not We will not have that at
Please,
all.
Gareth.
You can't copyright that. Please spare us some of your 100 million for
Sue us in England.
Sue us in Wales, okay. But in other news, Android have a new operating system, of course, which has been the butt of our joke. It's called KitKat. I read an article saying that, don't worry, there's no cash exchanging hands. Okay?
It's just a real fun time.
It's just a name.
It's like going back to twerking and Miley Cyrus. No one really got hurt. There was no cash exchange. It was just like
no real names, no promises, and so
but Google living up to their do no evil.
Do no evil. So obviously they
no evil, no evil.
In their defence,
evil.
They have been using kind of confectionery names. So they had Jelly Bean, ice cream sandwich, and now Kit Kat. So in that case, it's fine. But
there are other alternatives.
There are other alternatives. I just can't help feel that someone's getting paid here and no one else knows about it.
Someone is getting money
because I think.
I quite like
there's over hundreds of millions of users of Android who are suddenly going to know about Kit Kat. I can't help but think that this may benefit a certain company's sales of this product.
They should have picked like a really like downtrodden.
Exactly right. I don't know what was Curly Whirly.
Someone who's
Fredo.
Can you imagine how much Curly Whirly and Fredo need the sales? Kit Kat's doing fine. Look at us. Look at that. They've got Kit Kat white. They got dark. But that was what was in the news.
It's very politically correct for Kit Kat.
Exactly. Yeah. These days you got to be careful. And I think that's about it from what I know. What else has been going on? Anyone else with any?
No, I think that they're the big ones. They're the ones we need to mention. Ones. I mean, I'm just still shocked by Cyrus.
We're all in shock.
She has a hell of a tongue.
I imagine that every father watching that incentively was just like, I hope my daughter does that. I imagine there was a universal. All fathers just thought the same thing. No matter what kind of father you were, you just saw that and you just thought,
I'm beginning to see why parents are scared of youth culture.
Yeah,
I begin to look
now.
And go like,
now I see that. I'm just like.
Imagine you walk in on your daughter twerking her boyfriend. I mean,
it's just.
What do you do?
What do you do?
How do you eat at the dinner table afterwards?
Exactly.
I mean, I'd rather she was doing something else to him. Keep it under the covers.
So there you have it, guys. Don't let your daughters twerk. And name
you can't
your
even say twerk responsibly.
Exactly. Yeah, don't twerk responsibly. There is no such thing. No, the moment you start getting into twerking, it's over for you.
That's like drink, drive responsibly. There's no
exactly. There's no middle ground, is there? I think that's about it. Oh, last thing. Apple are having a special event on Tuesday, 10th September. So that could be the new iPhone launch.
Watch.
And also maybe a smartwatch, because wearable tech's where it's at. We might do a podcast on that. But Samsung actually...
Where's it going to go? You're going to have goggles. And
exactly, imagine that. It's like the early Terminator. You'll have goggles, you'll have your watch, you'll have your kind of... Everything will just be...
I'm hoping to get like a digital knee.
Yeah, a belt buckle, digital knee. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So they're getting some stuff, and that's it. Actually, sorry. Last thing, guys. Wikipedia has shown up, so now we can get a little bit
crashing under all the traffic that's going to twerking.
So here we go. Twerking is a type of dancing in which the dancer, usually a woman,
not exclusively. I was wrong about that.
Not exclusively.
Shakes her hips in an up and down bouncing motion,
twerking in Soho,
causing the dancer's buttocks to shake, wobble, and jiggle. According to the Oxford,
a long way from there.
Okay, so we know the Oxford Dictionary because we've looked at that, and there you go. And origins include African dances, Ivory Coast, and of course Miley Cyrus gave a controversial and headline-producing twerking dance.
But I suppose if you need to learn how to twerk, just watch that.
Exactly. She perfect twerking. Well played.
Excellent. Rob, is there anything you'd like to sign off on? Can we see you perform anytime soon?
Yes.
What's happening?
Ooh, dates to be publicised at some point.
I'm trying to rework your script with you, aren't you?
You're currently reworking a script for me. It's it's kind of back to the drawing board at the moment with that. Twerking it. Adding that little
nice.
thing.
Very, very good.
Totally accidental as well. So I'll be doing that shortly. I guess Rob Meiklejohn on Twitter. Yeah. That's where to find me.
Yeah. Is it at Rob?
At Rob Meiklejohn. There's no other Meiklejohn. All one word, at Rob Meiklejohn. Meiklejohn.
We'll put it on the link. We never do, but we do.
Well, we do. It's on there.
Not many people have that name, so there we go. It's easy to get you.
You're Ron Meiklejohn on my phone.
On your phone, I'm Ron Meiklejohn for reasons that are completely rather unclear.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, there you go, guys. We hope you've been entertained, and go home, go forth. You already out home? I don't know. Mobile broadband these days, 4G, right? So enjoy it wherever you are, and we will see you next time.
Bye bye.
Take it easy, viewers.